American Constitutional Court actually uses quite often in its interpretation of the 96th Constitution. When you talk about positive obligation of the state, it is not a positive obligation of the state to interfere, restrict, but it is a positive obligation of the state to facilitate. So that is the analysis. Okay. To Shahira, I think you asked a question, and your question is, isn't the present law sufficient to deal with perpetrators of persecution, humiliation, etc. on members of the LGBT community? The answer is yes and no. Yes, the laws are there. No, because of stigmatization and the threats of prosecution against them. Legal Aid Center throughout the Peninsula, we do get cases of members of this community where they are harassed by enforcement agencies, where they are also then forced to perform certain sexual favors to members of the enforcement agency. Unfortunately, they just don't want to pursue the complaint because of that very stigmatization. That's the problem, you see. And this stigmatization relates to the whole issue which the other speaker talked about on public health issue. Yes. And as to where I am going, I'm going nowhere. I'm staying put in this country. Even I myself, when I look, because I read various materials of human rights on the issue of, you raised the whole issue of saying, do I support same-sex gay marriages? Of course, Bar Council doesn't. We had this debate in council, and me on a personal level, I also don't know the answer to that. All right, but what I do know is simply this: that nobody, because of their sexual orientation or identity, should be punished. That is what I do know for sure.
I don't know whether we should be in a totalitarian, we give a totalitarian without any state's intervention. I doubt. Arguably, I would say states has some role to play, or a greater role to play other than individuals, because totalitarianism would lead to tyranny, and the minority will be tyranny by the majority, if that is the case. But somehow, I believe in the state interference to respond to positive or negative connotation. Okay, to answer the questions from Brother Al-Hafiz, whether there's a tribunal to entertain your case if you've been discriminated. I've said in the earlier, at the beginning, I said, I don't want somebody, let's say, I hold a bank. I have a treasury of money. I will not hire a gambler. Do I have the right, or do I have the duty or obligation to hire somebody who comes, which I don't believe. Let's say I'm running a kindergarten. Do I have a right, or do I have a duty to take somebody who is morally ungodly attitude to be in my kindergarten? I would. You ask yourself. I would, as an individual. I will not take a maid who I know that he will probably, or this person will not morally good behavior. I would. Personally, I would. I'm not sure about my brothers here, but I, as a mother, I will not have somebody who's homosexual, for instance, to be a teacher in my kindergarten or to take care of my children. I'm worried. And Shahira, it depends on how we define what is morality to us. What is morality to us? And if you ask me as a Muslim, I would say what is sinful in Islam, therefore it becomes immoral. It's not a crime, it becomes immoral. That I read a discussion, let's say somebody was saying a consensual, victimless crime. If any adults commit certain unnatural sexual relations, claims that that is my privacy, that is my right. But I would say, is that moral? So you ask yourself between you and God whether this is sinful or not. So that is my touchstone. I'm happy our brothers from just touched down in Malaysia for 3 days. Welcome to Malaysia. I'm happy that we are left behind in this situation. We are left behind for 5 years. I'm happy. Why I'm happy with? For God's sake, it's not a welcome, it's not a pleasant meeting to talk about whether it is sinful to my religion to discuss this as a right. I said at the very beginning, it's quite unpleasant to me be sitting here. I don't want to talk about this. I'm a very traditional woman and happily married, normal, personally speaking. I'm a very traditional woman in a way because I believe in straight. What straight is natural? What to me is straight. So when I talk about touchstone, I mean it positive. We shift, the evolution we take must be something for the better. The evolution, the renaissance, the changes we made must be for the better. That was my question, where are we heading the nation? Where are we going to? Is it for personal liberty or for peaceful nation and civilization to sustain? Is that what where are we heading to? If we think that we want to go for personal liberty, we have all this and we want to claim that it's all everybody's right and in totalitarianism, go ahead if the majority wants. That's what democracy is all about. But I will remain a minority. And so we go to the graph in the United States of America, graph those initially America, those 15 years ago, most Americans disagreed to homosexuality. But in year 2011, America has to support the resolution of the United Nations because the people want it to happen. So if the Malaysian, but now the percentage is 46-44. 46 is for, 44 is against homosexuality. That is the graph developed. That's a fact. It's a data. So somehow, if the nation wants it to happen, I will remain in the minority. It doesn't matter because, let's say, Muslims progressive wants to say that this is the interpretations of Surah Al-A'raf verses 81 to 84, verses 80, verses 30, whatever verses you have in the Quran. As a Muslim, that is immutable. There are rules which are very clear and immutable. Whatever development in human nation, we cannot say that what is clearly prohibited in Islam could be an archive. It's not an absolute. The Muslims believe that we will remain to the last day. So what my conclusion to your comment is that all evolutions must be for the good. And the touchstone is for the good. Thank you for the comment from Sister Nabila Nasir. Thank you.
Thank you, Kak Syama, Ms. Salim. I believe that there's still a lot of questions to be asked, so I'm going to open for the final round of Q&A session. So before that, can I just see raise of hand, how many of you intend to ask questions? Okay, there's so many.
Can I get to pick who asked the questions? I'm just joking.
Okay, I think I'll just allow 5 more questions, okay? So, response, then get to ask the question. Please proceed. Do something that will allow you to ask the question. So think something creative, right? Only 5 questions allowed.
Only 5 questions
Hi, I almost feel as if I'm expected to ask a question, so I'm just obliging.
Nobody.
My name is Pang. Some of you may know me as one of the founders of Seksualiti Merdeka. So I want to first state that I'm very grateful that such a forum can take place in Malaysia. I'm also grateful for Ms. Shah, that even though clearly you're uncomfortable and you disagree with our position, that you consented to talk about it. Really, you have no idea, as a person who has grown up in Malaysia, gay, and